The book we did for our book report was Sweetness and Power by Sydney Mintz. Sydney Mintz was born in 1922 in New Jersey, and he died in 2015, also in New Jersey. During his career, he studied sugarcane workers in Puerto Rico, historical and ethnographic studies of slavery and global capitalism, cultural hybridity, Caribbean peasants, and the political economy of food commodities. He did his main studies in Puerto Rico, Haiti, and Jamaica, but he later did similar studies in Iran and Hong Kong.
A little intro to the book is Sweetness and Power is centered around the role of sugar in shaping modern cultures and societies. The historical trajectory of sugar, from its origins of luxury to being an essential part of people's diets, is explored throughout this book. A comprehensive examination of the impact of sugar on the development of economies, cultures, and societies is also seen through Mintz's writing and research. Mintz begins by exploring the historical origins of sugar, then focusing on the role of sugar in the development of the modern world. He uses themes such as cultural symbolism, labor, global impact, economic impact, and social significance as a way to better understand and emphasize the research that he has done. By focusing on the history of sugar, Mintz gives insights into broader issues of inequality, social and cultural change, and the issues of power and social classes. The economic impact explored throughout the book mentions aspects of the production of sugar, consumption of sugar, and the trading. So sugar quickly became a key commodity for markets, wealth, and for cultures and societies globally.
We went back and forth. It was really hard for us to figure out what exactly the thesis was. Mintz was not very explicit with it at any point in the book, but eventually we came up with, as sugar became an increasingly popular food item worldwide, its means of production and consumption became a vital part of the global economy and contributed to the rise of capitalism and diverging social classes.
So, to help prove this thesis, we looked into the book for excerpts, and one of these excerpts is the upward climb of both production and consumption within the British Empire must be seen as part of an even larger general movement. In this excerpt, Mintz makes the assumption that the change in the production and consumption of sugarcane is part of a larger movement towards a rise in capitalism. The process of utilizing slave labor to both farm and refine sugar, then exporting it across the ocean to a variety of countries, created a huge industry that rocketed Great Britain's economy to the very top.
A quote from the book about sugar for the upper class was, "But we have already seen how sucrose, this favored child of capitalism, epitomized the transition of one kind of society to another." At the beginning of sugar's life in Great Britain, it was a food that only the wealthy could afford. It was used as medicine, candy, a spice, and for decoration. Often if an apothecary didn't carry sugar, it was considered to be very desperate times. Mintz writes, "Sugar is soothing and solving. It soothes hoarseness and pains in the breast, causes thirst but less than honey, and sometimes vomiting, but on the whole it is good for the stomach if it is in good condition and free of bile."
As sugar production became more industrialized, its price got cheaper and slowly trickled down to the lower class. Poorer people started using sugar paired with tea to get more calories in their diets. It was used as a preservative for meats to keep them safe to eat longer. All over the world, sugar has helped to fill the calorie gap for the laboring poor and has become one of the first foods of the industrial work break.
The main strengths found within this book are the thorough research done by the author, the interdisciplinary approach, and the overall depth of the analysis applied to the complex social and historical issues surrounding sugar. Through Mintz's interdisciplinary approach, he combines anthropology, sociology, and history to provide an in-depth analysis of the role that sugar had in shaping societies, and along with this approach, he used it in a way for him that he used it in a way that he was able to better enrich the understanding of sugar. The analysis also displayed the cultural significance of sugar, creating an understanding of how sugar became a symbol of social status and luxury, focusing on how sugar was originally an item that only the upper class was able to use until it was eventually transformed into an affordable product that all classes were able to use. Another strength seen was how this book targets a wide audience more than just specialists or the academic world, even though this is an academic work. It's very informative and overall just targets a broad audience. And Sweetness and Power overall just contributes to a better understanding of the complex relationships seen between food, culture, and power.
The book's main weakness is that it can get carried away in tangents, and some chapters can feel very unfocused. Ideas have a tendency to blend together and have trouble telling a whole picture sometimes. The book's approach to telling history is not for everyone, and it can often feel very disconnected from the sugar trade entirely, even for the purposes of using it as a metaphor for capitalism.
Overall, we have a few opinions on this book. Did we like it? Well, yes and no. It wasn't super fun to read, but there were interesting parts that none of us had really heard about before. It was really hard to muscle through at times. I would fall asleep during reading it, which was very difficult. But once I got through it, I ended up learning a lot more than I thought I would. Some interesting takeaways we had. Modern diet or eating practices changed who we ate with and when we ate with them. So the popularity of sugar also was matched with a rise in the popularity of restaurants, and it also changed how meals were eaten and who they were eaten with. People started eating less meals with their family. They would eat at different times, and maybe not at the dinner table in their house. We also found out that sugar was used to be used for medicine. Right, like today when we think of sugar, we imagine our doctor telling us to eat less, it's making us fat, but it was used very, very commonly in Europe at the beginning of its rise in Europe. Would we recommend this book? Not for reading for fun. If you have an interest in the importance of sugar, yes. If you've ever wondered, like, sugar is so important to a lot of foods we eat now, where did it come from? This is a great book to teach you extensively the history of it. What is this book good for? We would say that this book is really good for academic work, or if you're curious about sugar's history. If you're in gastronomy classes or you are working in nutrition and you want to learn about the history of sugar and our relationship with sugar as a society, that's a great book to read for that. And if you're just a history nerd or a food nerd, you might also appreciate some of the key concepts in this book. Thank you.